look at the comm unit.
Have you ever gone back to something from your childhood that filled you with joy and excitement, only to realize it might not be as great as you remembered? Maybe, just maybe, it was all a lie.
That is one big pile of shit.
Welcome to Gaming Safe Space, your home for gaming nostalgia reviews and discussion. A safe space for gamers to relive the highs, lows, and everything in between. I'm your host, and today, we're diving into a game that was an absolute classic from my childhood. With Jurassic Park Dominion coming out soon, it's the perfect time to ride that dinosaur algorithm wave. Yes, we're talking about Turok from 2008, released on Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and sadly, no PC port, as far as I can tell. Let's see if this dino shooter holds up, or if it's extinct for a reason. Dinosaurs were my obsession as a kid. I'd wake up early to watch Walking with Dinosaurs, binge Jurassic Park on VHS, and read the same dinosaur books until the pages fell apart. But when it came to dinosaur video games, the pickings were slim. Sure, we had Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, a park-building gem, and Peter Jackson's King Kong, which scratched the itch. I also played Turok Evolution on the PS2, but it wasn't quite the dino shooter I craved. Then, in 2008, I saw Turok advertised in those pricey gaming magazines. You know, the ones that cost 2-week advances in your pocket money. The trailers promised epic dinosaur battles, futuristic weapons, and a gritty sci-fi story. I thought, this is it. My prayers have been answered. I'm gonna get my dinosaur on. As a kid, I loved this game. I'd replay the T-Rex levels over and over, feeling like a badass. But here's the thing, kid me was not a reliable critic. That same kid watched Alien vs. Predator, Requiem, and called it cinematic perfection. Yeah, I don't trust that kid's taste. So I decided to revisit Turok in 2025 to see if it's the diamond I remember or just a fossilized mess. Let's start with the story. You play as Joseph Turok, a soldier on a mission to track down his former wolf pack leader, Roland Kane, who's gone rogue on a mysterious planet. The game kicks off with a vibe straight out of Aliens. A group of Marines wakes up from cryopods on a spaceship, but instead of camaraderie, they're all taking turns roasting Turok. The main bully is a character voiced by Ron Perlman. Yes, Hellboy himself. I couldn't catch his name in the game, so for this video, we'll call him Nasty Man. Nasty Man has a grudge against Turok because, without spoiling too much, Turok turned his back on the Wolfpack, which may or may not involve Nasty Man's brother. The details are fuzzy, and the game doesn't make it much clearer. The bullying session gets cut short when a missile hits the spaceship, and you crash land on a planet crawling with Kane's army and, you guessed it, dinosaurs. It's a solid setup. Marines, sci-fi, and prehistoric beasts. I've seen worse premises, but the execution? Well, we'll get to that. Right off the bat, I ran into problems. The voice acting sounds like the actors recorded their lines in an echoey cave, standing 10 meters from the microphone. It's muffled and hard to follow. I thought, no big deal, I'll turn on subtitles. But guess what? There's no subtitle option. So, if you're deaf or hard of hearing, tough luck. Accessibility was clearly not a priority in 2008. Then there's the gameplay. I was ready to blast some dinosaurs, but the controls are a nightmare. There's no aim assist, and the movement feels so tanky that hitting enemies feels like pure luck. I had to crank the sensitivity to max just to make it playable, and even then, my controller was begging for mercy. Combat feels like a budget version of Doom, except instead of being the Doomslayer, you're Turok, his fragile cousin who dies in seconds on the lowest difficulty. When you take damage, the screen turns red and blurry, making it impossible to see where you're going. You'll stumble around, disoriented, and die in the chaos. Sticking to cover is your best bet, but Kane's soldiers have pinpoint accuracy, while dinosaurs will knock you down before you can react. Speaking of Kane's army, they're a mixed bag. They're deadly shots, but also hilariously dumb. I caught them shooting at walls, staring at the sky, or firing wildly in random directions. I guess that's what you get when you hire cheap mercenaries. The weapons don't help. You get a pistol, pulse rifle, shotgun, and more, but they feel like you're shooting a water gun. There's no weight or impact to them. The sound design is weak, and the aggressive camera shake when firing makes it hard to see what's happening. Want to turn off the camera shake? Nope, no option in the menu. Motion sickness kicked in after 20 minutes, and that's rare for me. The game tries to spice things up with stealth mechanics. Early on, you get a bow for silent takedowns, and you can hide in tall grass to stab enemies in the back. Sounds cool, right? Except the stealth is bare bones. Using the bow seems to alert every enemy in a mile radius, so stealth feels pointless. You're better off going in guns blazing, even if the guns feel like toys. There's also a knife for close quarters combat, which is satisfying when it works. Stabbing a raptor in the face feels primal, but good luck getting close without being mauled. The game wants to be a jack of all trades, shooter, stealth, survival, but it doesn't master any of them. I've been harsh, but there are a few things I genuinely enjoyed. The dinosaur designs are a highlight. From towering T-Rexes to panther-like raptors that stalk you from the trees, the variety is impressive. These predators feel dangerous, and their animations, while dated, still hold some charm. Your AI partner, Nasty Man, isn't completely useless. He takes out his fair share of enemies, which is more than I can say for most AI companions from 2008. That said, he spends half the game trash-talking Turok. I'm married. I get enough of that in real life, so I don't need it in my dinosaur shooter. Thanks. The environments are another plus. The jungle planet feels alive, with dense foliage and eerie atmosphere. It's not crisis-level visuals, but for a 2008 game, it's decent. So, does Turok 2008 hold up in 2025? Honestly, no. The clunky controls, poor audio, and frustrating mechanics make it tough to recommend. Dinosaur games are still rare, outside of park builders like Jurassic World Evolution or survival games like Ark. So, if you're desperate for a dino shooter, this might scratch the itch. But you'll need to tolerate a lot of jank. Without backward compatibility, you're stuck playing it on an old Xbox 360 or PS3, unless you dabble in emulation. If you can handle the dated graphics, floaty controls, and lack of accessibility, it's not the worst way to spend a weekend. But honestly, you're better off rewatching the original Jurassic Park trilogy for the 40th time. That's my take on Turok 2008, a nostalgic trip that didn't quite live up to my childhood memories. Did you play this game back in the day? Are you tempted to revisit it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell for more gaming nostalgia. I'd love to cover more retro games, so if you have recommendations, dinosaur-themed or otherwise, let me know. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and keep gaming.